Welcome to the Polarion compliance to ISO 26262 on automotive functional safety. The learning objective is to understand how the Polarion X template supports compliance to the ISO 26262 international standard. The Polarion X template supports ISO 26262 functional safety coverage in multiple areas. First, starting with the management of functional safety during the product development. It supports the concept phase for both the item definition, the HARA, the functional safety concept, the system development in the technical safety concept, the system and item integration and testing, safety validation. It supports multiple areas in hardware development, software development, and supporting processes, including the specification of management of safety requirements, verification, and documentation management. The Polarion X template can cover more than just ISO 26262. Since ISO 26262 is based off of the IEC 61508, there are multiple standards based off of the IEC 61508. Therefore, their construction and the work products are often similar, maybe a little few different names, but the template can support multiple different areas. If you have any questions or doubt, please contact your Polarion representative. Compliant item development. The item development in Polarion X covers more than just 26262. While it does cover all of the parts for functional safety, it also includes the parts for cybersecurity and SOTIF, according to Annex A, Part 8.2.4. The item development in Polarion is compliant by meeting the needs of the specification, which are outlined by the boundary of the item, its interfaces, and the assumptions concerning the interactions of the items and elements. It will cover the elements of the item, the assumptions concerning the effects in the item's behavior of the vehicle, the functionality of the item under consideration required by the other items and the elements, the functionality of the other items and elements required by the item under consideration, its allocation and distribution of functions among the involved systems and elements, and the operating scenarios which impact the functionality of the item and the elements of that item. Compliant FMEA risk assessment to IEC 60812. The Polarion X functional safety template also provides a compliant FMEA methodology to IEC 60812. While not necessary for functional safety, risk analysis are often done in alignment. So we have provided you the overall risk specification template and an outline for providing compliant FMEA analysis. Compliant hazard analysis and risk assessment. The Polarion X template provides a compliant analysis for a hazard analysis and risk assessment. We use the overall ASIL determination between severity classes, exposures, and controllability to give you the ASIL that is required. The Polarion X is compliant to the ISO 26262 hazard analysis and risk assessment. We start with the item definition. We initiate the HARA to evaluate regarding the potential hazardous events. We will analyze the hazard according to its severity, probability of exposure, and controllability, determining what the ASIL value is. We will also provide an area for the safety goals and the safe state. From there, we will have our safety validation and linking downward to our functional safety concepts and technical safety requirements. Here, we see a brief outline of the HARA documentation that start from the functionality through the classification into our safe state. Our template also provides all of the information that you will need to fill out to be compliant to the international ISO 26262 standard. Compliant acyl decomposition. Requirements decomposition with respect to acyl tailoring is an important point to make when trying to be compliant to ISO 26262. While we can start with the safety goal, decomposition can start at any point after the safety goal, at any requirement. We can break those acyl up into two smaller acyls that meet the technical requirements of the parent. The process acyl cannot be divided since all processes have to meet the acyl of the safety goal. But as we continue down, we can see where we have divided the acyl into the X component of the technical requirements and the Y component of the supporting processes. Throughout our template, we will add and check to make sure that the technical requirements are compliant to the final safety goal. But the supporting processes must always align to the highest level safety goal of our hazard analysis and risk assessment. Compliant functional safety concept and our technical safety concepts. Next, we will start our functional safety concept and our technical safety concept. The functional safety concept is a concept, but it is a specification of requirements with associated information and their allocation of elements within the architecture and their interaction necessary to achieve the safety goals. The technical safety concepts is also a specification of the technical safety requirements and their allocation, but it is the technical requirements that fulfill the concept and so must be at the functional safety of the system level. Here we see how Polarion meets our functional safety concept. We first start with our requirements documentation, our template, which outlines everything you will need to be compliant. But the objective of this is to specify the functionality or the degraded functionality of the behavior of the item that's related to the safety goals. We also will have to list the constraints regarding what is suitable time detection for controlling the relevant failures or faults according to the safety goals, the item level strategies or measures to achieve the required fault tolerance, and any allocation of the functional requirements to any of the system architecture design or external measures. And then along we will have to provide how we will verify the functional safety concept and specify those safety validation criteria. The technical safety concept is an aggregate of both the technical safety requirements and the system architecture design. We try to provide the rationale as why a system architecture design is suitable to fulfill the safety requirements and the design constraints. The technical safety requirement specification is the technical implementation of the functional safety requirements respective to their hierarchy, trying to consider both the item definition and the system architecture design. We address the detection of the latent faults, fault avoidance, safety integration, and operation of the service aspects. The system architecture design is the selected system level solution that is implemented by the technical system. Here, the architecture design aims to fulfill both the allocated technical safety requirements and the non-safety requirements. All of this is together, as we can see in our technical safety concepts area. Compliance verification. The Polarion X compliance verification supports this in three ways: by providing the verification planning activities, the verification specification, and the verification execution and evaluation capturing. Here we see the Polarion X compliant verification planning documents, specification, and evaluation sheets. In the middle, our verification planning documents is where you will provide your use cases. You will build your use cases for each different test that you have. You will then place them in your verification specification so you can keep track of them. A specification will be applied to each set of requirements documentation. On the right, you see verification, execution, and evaluation. As you execute and provide results, we provide pages to easily manage and evaluate a number of tests in a collective for that specification. Polarion X compliance using our Polarion X templates. We have tried to provide you a number of templates from our item development, our concept, our HARAs, our verification, and different items. We hope that you are able to use these as intended to meet compliance to 26262. If there is ever a need, please do not hesitate to contact your Polarion representative. And thank you again for watching our Polarion X demo on our functional safety template.